Hello, hello. You're listening to a special mini clip for the Lemon Drop sessions where we talk about food and music. I'm Will and I'm here with Jeff.
Hello, everyone.
Right on, right on. So the podcast is uh, based in Connecticut and we try to feature a lot of Connecticut music acts and pair them with local restaurants. That being said, we did uh, we've gotten a fair share of shout outs. We might start going farther afield um, with shout outs and things like that. Um, anyway, it's been great to sort of dig back into the music scene through this podcast. I'm getting to, sort of talk to people about how they feel, about what's going on right now and where they're at with their artistry. Um, And so I did want to do a quick shout out to the music artist Milestone. Um, uh, he's sort of um, an old friend of mine that I ran into just as we were getting this podcast rolling. And um, he's really sincere about recording and and performance. And it's been really refreshing to see his work process. Right now, he's working on a new single, and you know, so every time I get to hang out with him, I get like basically a behind the scenes featurette, you know. So I did actually. He let me record um, just a little minute long reel for Instagram. I threw it up on my personal slash business Instagram, and I might throw it down in the little about me section for this clip. Um, so our listeners can learn about Milestone and see try him out. He's got a bunch of songs already available, and it looks like he's gonna you know come back for a round two or three or four or five, and bring some new music here towards the end of 2022. Um, so I just wanted to do that shout out real quick. Um, Jeff, thanks for coming, riding the wave,
Most
being here on
definitely.
this clip.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
always happy to chill.
so you did there were a couple people that you wanted to put me onto, so please do. I don't want to be the only person on this clip. Please say some stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely not. So, I absolutely adore the scene in and around us. It was amazing growing up in this area of Connecticut, and I don't think that a lot of people think that way from outside of our neck of the woods.
Right.
And I understand that. You know, we're not really on full blast, full signal boost as a spot. You don't really think of Connecticut as a happening place. But really, just the artists that kind of come out of our neck of the woods are really phenomenal and just so passionate. Um,
Yeah,
uh, Now a mutual friend of ours, James Hilton, is a
that's right.
stellar artist, man. And I think anybody who can check out him and his band, correct me if I'm wrong, No Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah, that is one of his
Uh,
bands. That seems to be the band that's in the lead right now.
Totally. Hey,
Um,
I've never been disappointed by one of their shows, so anyone who's got a chance to check them out absolutely should. Um, Again, I
so
had the
you've gotten to see No Honor Among Thieves? I didn't know that.
A handful of times, yeah. They do an amazing show, and I mean, James is such a really genuine human being. Like he's just an
Absolutely.
awesome guy to chill with, and the
Absolutely.
fact that he and his bandmates make awesome music is just that icing on top of the cake. So I really think we got to shout them out as far as local artists go. Um, and again, most recently, most notably, was able to meet and talk to some of the bandmates of um, Out of Orbit
Right, right, right.
as a band, and the front woman there is absolutely amazing. She was talking about
Right.
how she wants to get into music therapy. So the
Oh
band
wow. Wow.
is this really cool like coalition of all these people with a real passion for music.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Hmm.
also that added layer of, hey, music can be so much to so many people, and
Mm.
it can be more meaningful than just, oh, it's a nifty little track. It's like, no, you can do genuine good, and you can really help someone kind of understand themselves with music. And
Yeah.
I thought that was a very cool vibe to have.
Yeah. There was something, especially in the time when we were growing up, it's like, I mean, first of all, I I think it's safe to say that like when we were teenagers, when we were like, like 13, 14, 15, 16, there it was like 2003 and there was just nothing cooler than a pop punk band it was like the dream thing like to be,
Yeah, oh,
like
absolutely.
in all of society, like any, astronaut, no, like, even video game tester, no, it's like, like for some reason it was just the zeitgeist was just all about like Taking Back Sunday and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
You know,
no, absolutely. It was a
Warp
crazy.
Tour,
Oh yeah, oh my
right?
God,
Yeah.
yeah. Talk about the ethos there. No, and I think a lot of that, from my perspective, came in that, again, people think about Connecticut and you think there's not a whole lot to do here, and you would be correct. Uh, but to that point, when I was growing up,
Slowly starting to be slightly adult fun.
oh yeah, yeah, no, there's certainly more
Just
nightlife
like,
here. I mean, you and
but
I have definitely talked about that. But I mean, one of the things growing up, the thing to do Friday nights was go
mhm.
to an underground punk venue. I had
Yep.
one right down the road from me in Danbury. There's Toad's Place. We have and we have some
Well,
pretty well
Toad's
reputed
Place
ones.
is, yeah, Toad's Place is really, um, I would safely say, is going to be part of American music history, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah,
George Clinton makes a point of playing there, I think, like every year. And
yeah.
the Rolling Stones wandered in there during a recording session, some story like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild to
Yeah.
think about a place like that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, these were venues that were just so cemented in growing up here.
Hmm.
So it's like,
Hmm.
how could you not be in on the indie music scene? Like, there was no way I wasn't going to be a punk growing up. That was just it was almost in my
Yeah.
DNA, being in such close proximity to these awesome venues, and to see these amazing bands coming up through the years.
Yeah. I mean, some were amazing. It's like
Yeah,
it's like somewhere in the right place at the right time.
for sure,
But
for sure.
also, I mean, I haven't gone back and listened to these these songs that were so cathartic to me at one point. I haven't, it's actually weird that I don't listen to them compared to, I think honestly, well, I'll happily shout out the Aquabats, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, to say that, that absolutely, if the Aquabats could get me through a rough day at school, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Yeah, what about you, man? You had a couple. I had never heard the Cage the Elephant hit Ain't No Rest for the Wicked
Wicked.
until I was like riding around in your car. We were like going to a tattoo place or something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I love Cage the Elephant. they're a fun band. They're just fun to listen
They're
to.
fun, yeah.
Honestly.
Their story is crazy. They released their first album. They're from Kentucky, and they just up and moved to England. Like that's the story I heard. They just like they're
Hey,
like got the album out and they're like peace.
hey,
And
rock it if you got it, man.
yeah.
I respect the I respect the vibe.
And by the way,
If
story might be wrong, but I'm not going to check. I'm
no,
just
that's
gonna
fair.
I'm just gonna filter out misinformation
That's
about a trivia question that is not super pertinent to knowledge in general, in my opinion.
totally fair. Now, if
Yeah,
we're doing, especially if we're doing like older school shout outs, I'm not gonna say old school because I like to think I'm not quite there yet.
yeah,
But I have recently re-downloaded onto my phone and been jamming out to the Protomen.
right, right.
Like I've had I haven't had them exclusively on loop over the past week or so, but I've definitely been jamming out to them, and for it, I was gonna say if you know you know, but for those of you who don't, the Proto Men are this awesome punk band that made um these like rock operas
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
about the story of MegaMan.
yeah.
And Proto Man and Dr. Light and Dr. Wily, and there
Oh
are
my
some
gosh.
amazing bangers in those albums. And I mean, if you have the time to listen to them start to finish, it is absolutely a worthwhile experience.
Yeah. There's no reason for me to hide this information any longer. I absolutely have a Mega Man movie plot. There's, I mean, it's the same. It's what everybody wants. It's Mega Man fighting Proto Man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know,
It's
it's
a
just
simple concept, but it works so
the un
flawlessly.
yeah, it's just it, I actually I think I really like the Proto Men and their idea because I was really, we have our Feast Like Odin podcast where we talk about animation, and I still remember I didn't even really watch Mega Man, but just the concept of this guy sort of, he has to win the fight and then he gets their powers. Like, like just it's so nuts. And like I rarely ever watch Mega Man, but that like in life, but that thing where he like makes a face of determination as he like takes his unconscious enemy's powers,
Yeah,
that face he makes is like burned into my memory, like, as the data like floats into his mind.
yeah.
So we were gonna keep it about lemon drop sessions and I wasn't gonna, plug
Don't want to push too far. Yeah.
but like there's Mega Man, Proto Man, absolutely. So what's your favorite Proto Man song?
Man. Okay. It is it is tough. This is an unfair question. I
This
just
is
want you to
great.
know that well.
This is just
I
gold
want you
for
to
me
know
visually.
this is an unfair question, and
I,
I want
I've
it on
never
record.
I've never stumped anyone like this
It
before.
no, I have an answer, and I want anyone, and especially if any members of the Proto Men are listening, this is no shade towards any other tracks, but my ultimate song, the one that I go to constantly, if I'm like, man, I just need my fix for my Proto Men fix, and I've only got time for one song. It's the Hounds off of
Mm,
their second album.
okay,
There's just
I hear
something
that.
so
I hear that.
dynamic about that song, and about the vitriol that
Mhm,
that
mm.
Wiley has in that essence. Like I get chills. I get chills halfway through that song when he's talking about burning down Dr. Light's name. So that the Hounds has to
That's
be
awesome.
my one go-to song, but there's so like I said, there's so many bangers on those albums. It is it is unfair to make me pick one, but that's got to be the
I
one.
agree. I agree. It was unfair. Do you know, like, do you think the Protomen guys ever wound up talking to the Mega Man guys?
Ah, that would be cool. I'm
Yeah,
not sure, but that would be very very cool if they had like some rumblings there. Like, can you imagine like a
yeah,
licensed movie or cartoon or something for Mega Man
yeah.
with this like compose the soundtrack composed by the Protomen? That would be
I
just
mean,
phenomenal.
it does seem like ideas are floating in that, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, like I feel like, some of the that suggestion specifically of like the diehard Proto Men actually teaming up with Mega Man. That's the kind of story that I think I might actually hear about from time to time in this era, you know. It's
yeah,
just like it does seem like people who, you know, were faithful to a certain character for a long time are getting their due. And actually, since we hung out on this track for a bit, we talk about swag from time to time. We're trying to do something with that, just like we're not trying to break anybody's bank account, but there's all of these cool sort of side quest treasure items, that we really started finding out about when we started the series. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in one. Oh man. Oh, the sweet joys of editing. The
yep.
I can just cut this out. Go. There's a guy with a Ghostwriter podcast. Yeah, Inner Demons. This is Demons on. I just really want to. One more second.
Totally.
Right. Okay. So, there's a guy with a long time Ghostwriter podcast named Chris Munn, and he wrote a sort of a book about Ghost Rider from 1972 to 1983 called Wheels on Fire. Um, Available on Amazon. I absolutely think, you know, uh, this guy Munn, and it looks like some other people were involved in the book as well. But that's one of those cool sort of side quest treasure items, really in league with a Proto Men album or something like that. So, um, it's cool to see someone sort of, dig into these rich characters again and come up with something really interesting. I haven't
Absolutely.
I haven't picked up this book yet, but I plan to in the near future. Um, and part of uh, calling out the swag is to share the wealth. We want to do some products, some merch line, and that it really is about, kind of just, you know they're supposed to be mood boosters. They're supposed to be like party favors, fun clips, fun fun stuff that sort of gets you through the week better. That's like really the best that I can imagine. You
Bring
know,
some light into a darker world. I get that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Jeff, there is something about you specifically saying bring light to a darker world. Like
So
I don't even I think there are some A-list actors who like they're like bring some light into a darker world. Be like, shut up. You know, for some reason you sell it. I don't know how you
hey,
do it.
hey, genuine belief, my friend.
It's called belief. Uh, there's another acting lesson from from Jeff Lead.
Yeah, man who's never acted before. I guess I had like a couple roles in high school, but
It's it's
either
it's
way,
it's truly fascinating watching you act for the first time and kill it every
I
time.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I actually like wrote it into because we're trying to make some skits and stuff for this. I like, I literally just like write in, my character going, Jeff's a really good actor.
Phenomenal.
All right, well, we're gonna close it up. We wound up having some fun here on this Lemon Drop Sessions clip. Um, should I leave in that thing about the Mega Man, my Mega Man idea? Because I didn't really explain it that well. I might actually cut that out.
So I'd say, I mean, there are two options there, right? So like,
Right.
depending on how you feel, as it is, your concept, your idea. Um, you can either leave it in as a teaser and we can like circle back to that at some point, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to talk about Mega Man and the Protomen
Hmm.
more frequently. Or you can cut it out and then we do it its due diligence later on down the line.
I think
So
I
I
am
think
actually gonna cut it out. Yeah, because
that's
it
fair.
was like sort of we were doing Proto Man, and then I was like, oh, I have a Mega Man idea, and then it's like, yeah, and then Proto Man, so I just stop that. Just take that out. Yeah, but right on, man. That was a good one. That turned out really good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, my man.
I like that a lot, actually.